The alien invasion begins. The skies above Earth churned with an unnatural energy, a cosmic disturbance that sent shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned astronomers. Dr. Emma Reeves, lead scientist at the Global Space Observation Network, GSON, stared at her monitors in disbelief. The readings were off the charts, unlike anything she had seen in her 2 decades of studying the cosmos. "This can't be right," she muttered, adjusting her glasses and leaning closer to the screen. But as she cross-referenced the data with other observatories around the world, a chilling reality set in. They were not alone, and whoever, or whatever, was out there was heading straight for Earth. Within hours, the news spread like wildfire. Emergency meetings were called in every major capital, and the United Nations convened an unprecedented session. The world watched with bated breath as Secretary General Amina Okafor addressed the global community. "Citizens of Earth," she began, her voice steady despite the weight of her words, "today we face a moment that will define our species. An alien fleet approaches our planet. Their intentions are unknown, but we must be prepared for any outcome." As Okafor spoke, military leaders worldwide mobilized their forces. In Washington, D.C., General Marcus Briggs of the newly formed United Earth Defense Force, UEDF, pored over satellite imagery with his team. "They're not even trying to hide their approach," he growled, pointing to the massive shapes moving through the Kuiper Belt. "Whatever tech they've got, it's light years beyond ours." In Beijing, Dr. Lai Wei, head of the Quantum Communications Initiative, worked frantically to establish a means of communication with the approaching fleet. "If we can talk to them, maybe we can avoid conflict," she reasoned, her fingers flying over holographic keyboards. But as the aliens entered the solar system, passing Jupiter's orbit in a matter of hours, it became clear that peaceful communication might not be an option. The fleet's formation was unmistakably offensive, a dagger pointed at the heart of humanity. Earth's combined space forces, a hodgepodge of hastily armed satellites and repurposed civilian crafts, took up defensive positions around the planet. It was a pitiful showing compared to the sleek, predatory shapes of the alien vessels, now visible even to amateur telescopes. The first transmission from the alien fleet came 3 days after their initial detection. It crackled through every communication device on the planet, a harsh, guttural language that took AI translators precious minutes to decipher. "Beings of the third planet," the message began, "your world now belongs to the Zarkesh Empire. Surrender your resources and accept your place as our subjects, or face eradication. You have 1 planetary rotation to comply." The ultimatum sent shockwaves through human society. Panic gripped cities across the globe. Some called for immediate surrender, while others demanded resistance at any cost. In the chaos, a semblance of unity emerged as world leaders convened an emergency summit. In a fortified bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, representatives from every nation gathered to determine humanity's response. The debate was fierce, with voices raised and fists pounded on tables. But as the deadline approached, a consensus formed. President Elena Rodriguez of the Pan-American Alliance stood to address the assembly. "We did not come this far, climb out of the muck of our own history, to simply roll over and die," she declared, her eyes blazing with determination. "Humanity will stand and fight." As one, the leaders of Earth drafted their response to the Zarkesh ultimatum. It was short, defiant, and unmistakably human. "To the Zarkesh Empire, we choose to resist. Earth is our home, and we will defend it to our last breath. Come and take it, if you dare." With the message sent, the world braced for war. In orbit, Earth's meager defense fleet took up battle stations. On the ground, civilians were evacuated to underground shelters, and military installations hummed with activity. General Briggs stood in the UEDF command center, watching as the alien fleet approached the moon. "All units, stand ready," he ordered, his voice carrying to soldiers and pilots around the world. "We are the first and last line of defense for our home. Make every shot count." As the Zarkesh ships entered lunar orbit, an eerie calm settled over the Earth, in homes and bunkers, in cockpits and command centers. Humanity held its collective breath. The moment of truth had arrived. The alien fleet paused, as if savoring the fear they assumed must be gripping their prey. Then, without warning, they struck. Beams of searing energy lanced out from their ships, carving molten furrows across the face of the moon. "My God," someone whispered in the UEDF command center. The demonstration of power was meant to terrorize, to show the futility of resistance. But as General Briggs watched the destruction unfold, a steely resolve settled in his gut. "All units, engage," he roared. For Earth. Earth's defenders surged forward, a ragtag armada of courage facing down an overwhelming force. Missiles streaked through the void, meeting waves of alien fighter craft. The battle for humanity's survival had begun, and the odds were stacked firmly against them. As the first shots were fired, Dr. Emma Reeves huddled with her team in the depths of HFY headquarters. They had been tasked with analyzing the alien technology, searching for any weakness that could be exploited. As explosions bloomed silently in orbit, visible even through the thick bunker walls, Emma felt the weight of billions of lives on her shoulders. "There has to be something," she muttered, poring over the data streaming in from the battle. "Some flaw, some oversight we can use." Little did she know, halfway across the world, a discovery was about to change the course of the war, and perhaps the fate of humanity itself. Humanity's secret weapon. In the sprawling underground complex of Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado, alarms blared as reports of the space battle flooded in. But in a secluded lab deep within the facility, Dr. Amelia Chen barely registered the chaos. Her focus was entirely on the shimmering, gossamer-thin material suspended before her. Project Stardust had been her life's work, a closely guarded secret known only to a handful of the world's top scientists and military leaders. Now, as humanity fought for its very existence, it might be their only hope. Dr. Chen, a young assistant, burst into the lab, his face pale. "The aliens, they're breaking through our defenses." Amelia's eyes never left the experiment. "Then we better hurry," she said calmly, making a minute adjustment to the quantum field generator surrounding the material. "Inform General Briggs that we're ready for the final test." As the assistant scrambled to relay the message, Amelia allowed herself a moment of reflection. She thought of her parents, refugees who had fled war and persecution to give her a better life. Of her mentors at MIT, who had nurtured her unconventional theories. Of the countless nights spent poring over equations, chasing a dream that most dismissed as fantasy. Now that dream might be all that stood between humanity and extinction. The intercom crackled to life. "Dr. Chen, this is General Briggs. What's the status of Project Stardust?" Amelia took a deep breath. "We're ready, sir. Initiating final test sequence now." She activated the quantum field, and the gossamer material began to vibrate. Slowly at first, then with increasing speed, until it hummed with energy. On her monitors, readings spiked off the charts. "It's working," she whispered. Then louder, "General, we've done it. Project Stardust is operational." There was a moment of stunned silence, then a whoop of joy from the command center. But Amelia knew they weren't out of the woods yet. The real test would come against the alien technology. "Dr. Chen, I'm dispatching a team to escort you and the project to our launch facility," Briggs said, his gruff voice tinged with hope for the first time since the invasion began. "We'll deploy Stardust on our new prototype ship. It's a long shot, but it's the best chance we've got." As Amelia and her team prepared to move the delicate equipment, reports continued to pour in from the battle above. Earth's forces were fighting valiantly, but they were hopelessly outmatched. The Zarkesh ships shrugged off conventional weapons like raindrops, their energy shields flickering with each impact. In orbit, Commander Sarah Donovan gritted her teeth as another volley of alien fire vaporized 3 of her squad mates. Her fighter, a hastily upgraded F-52 Starhawk, ducked, and weaved through the debris field that was once Earth's satellite network. "This is Raptor Lead," she called over the comms. "We can't hold them much longer. Where's that reinforcement we were promised?" The response came not from her usual channels, but directly from General Briggs. "Raptor Lead, this is Baseplate. Help is on the way. I need you and your squad to clear a path to the alien flagship. Transmitting coordinates now." Sarah's eyes widened as she saw the location. It was in the heart of the enemy formation, a suicide run by any measure. But she had sworn an oath to protect Earth, and she'd be damned if she broke it now. "Roger that, Baseplate. Raptor Squad, form up on me. We're going hunting." As Sarah led her remaining pilots on their desperate mission, Amelia Chen and Project Stardust were rushed to a secret launch facility in the Nevada desert. There, nestled in the depths of a repurposed mineshaft, stood humanity's last, best hope, the XSS Excalibur. The ship was unlike anything Amelia had ever seen. Sleek and predatory, it combined the best of human engineering with reverse-engineered alien tech recovered from previous clandestine encounters. But its true power lay in the cargo bay, where Project Stardust was carefully installed. The Excalibur is designed to get you close enough to deploy Stardust, General Briggs explained as Amelia and a skeleton crew boarded the vessel. "After that, it's up to your invention to do the rest." Amelia nodded, her heart racing. She was a scientist, not a soldier, but the fate of humanity now rested on her shoulders. As the launch countdown began, she sent a silent prayer to whatever forces might be listening in the cosmos. The Excalibur rocketed into the sky, its experimental engines pushing it to speeds no human craft had achieved before. As they broke through the atmosphere, the true scale of the battle became apparent. The void was filled with streaks of weapons fire, explosions blooming like deadly flowers among the stars. Captain Miguel Cortez, a decorated pilot chosen to helm the Excalibur, deftly maneuvered through the chaos. "Dr. Chen," he called over his shoulder, "we're approaching the deployment zone. Whatever you're going to do, now's the time." Amelia rushed to the control panel for Project Stardust. With trembling fingers, she initiated the launch sequence. The gossamer material, now pulsing with energy, was ejected from the Excalibur in a rapidly expanding cloud. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, as the quantum-entangled particles of Stardust encountered the alien ship's energy fields, the impossible occurred. The impenetrable shields flickered and failed, leaving the Zarkesh vessels exposed. "It worked," Amelia breathed. Then louder, "It worked. Their shields are down." The news spread like wildfire through Earth's forces. Suddenly, the tide of battle began to turn. Human weapons, previously useless against the alien defenses, now found their marks. Zarkesh ships, once invulnerable, began to explode under the onslaught. But the aliens were quick to adapt. Their flagship, a behemoth that dwarfed all other vessels, began to emit a counterpulse that threatened to neutralize the Stardust effect. "Dr. Chen," Captain Cortez called urgently, "they're fighting back against Stardust. We need to take out that flagship now, or this advantage won't last." Amelia's mind raced. The Excalibur wasn't designed for direct combat. They needed a new plan, and fast. As she racked her brain for a solution, a comm channel crackled to life. "Excalibur, this is Raptor Lead. Heard you could use a hand with that big ugly." Commander Sarah Donovan's voice was strained but determined. Her squad had fought their way through impossible odds to reach this point. Now, with Stardust giving them a fighting chance, they were ready to end this. "Raptor Lead, this is Excalibur," Captain Cortez responded. "We're reading multiple weak points on the flagship's hull. If you can hit them while their shields are down." "Say no more," Sarah cut in. "Raptor Squad, you heard the man. Let's show these aliens why you don't mess with Earth. Fire everything." What followed was a display of piloting skill that would be remembered for generations. Sarah and her pilots danced through the chaos, their weapons finding every vulnerability in the alien flagship's armor. The Excalibur provided cover fire, its advanced targeting systems making every shot count. For a moment, it seemed as though victory was within grasp, but then the unthinkable happened. The alien flagship, its systems critically damaged, began to power up its main weapon, a planet killer capable of reducing Earth to ash. "No," Amelia whispered, watching in horror as the massive cannon began to glow with deadly energy. They had come so far, only to fail at the final hurdle. But humanity had one last card to play. And as the aliens prepared to deliver their final strike, the true power of human ingenuity and sacrifice was about to be revealed. The battle for Earth's orbit. The vast expanse of space above Earth had become a graveyard of shattered dreams and broken metal. Debris from both human and Zarkesh ships drifted silently, a testament to the ferocity of the battle that raged on. In the midst of this chaos, the XSS Excalibur and the remnants of Raptor Squad faced an impossible choice. The alien flagship, its hull scarred and burning from the relentless assault, was powering up its planet killer weapon. A sickly green glow emanated from the massive cannon, growing brighter with each passing second. Earth, blue and beautiful below, seemed to hold its breath. Inside the Excalibur's bridge, alarms blared as systems struggled to analyze the immense energy buildup. Dr. Amelia Chen's fingers flew over holographic displays, her mind racing to find a solution. "The stardust field is weakening," she reported, her voice tight with tension. "We don't have enough particles left to maintain full coverage of their fleet." Captain Miguel Cortez gripped the ship's controls, his knuckles white. "What about concentrating what we have left on the flagship? Can we disrupt that weapon?" Amelia shook her head, frustration evident in her eyes. "It's not enough. The energy output is too massive. We'd need—" She trailed off, her gaze falling on the Excalibur's engine readouts. A dangerous idea began to form. "Captain," she said slowly, "what if we overloaded our quantum drive and channeled it through the remaining stardust?" Amelia's eyes lit up with a mix of inspiration and dread. "Captain, what if we overloaded our quantum drive and channeled it through the remaining stardust particles? The resulting quantum cascade could disrupt their weapon systems." Captain Cortez's face paled as he understood the implications. "Doctor, that would tear the Excalibur apart. We'd be vaporized in the process." "I know," Amelia said softly, "but it might be our only chance to save Earth." A heavy silence fell over the bridge, broken only by the urgent beeping of tactical displays. The weight of their decision pressed down on every soul aboard the Excalibur. Commander Sarah Donovan's voice crackled over the comms, strained but determined. "Excalibur, Raptor lead here. Whatever you're planning, do it fast. We can't hold them off much longer." Captain Cortez took a deep breath, his eyes meeting each of his crew members in turn. They all nodded, a silent agreement passing between them. "All right, Dr. Chen, let's save the world. Initiate the quantum cascade." Amelia's fingers flew over the controls, rerouting power and reconfiguring the Stardust deployment systems. The ship groaned around them as the quantum drive spooled up beyond its safety limits. "Raptor Squad, this is Excalibur," Cortez called out. "Clear the area immediately. We're about to light this candle, and you don't want to be anywhere near us when we do." "Copy that." "Excalibur," Sarah replied, her voice thick with emotion. "It's been an honor. Give them hell." As the remaining Earth fighters peeled away, the Excalibur surged forward, driving straight toward the heart of the alien flagship. Alarms blared throughout the ship as systems began to overload. "Quantum cascade initiated," Amelia reported, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "Impact in 10, 9, 8. On the alien flagship, the Zarkesh Supreme Commander Vexthor watched in confusion as the tiny human vessel approached. Their scans showed a massive energy buildup, but of a type they had never encountered before. "Evasive maneuvers," Vexthor bellowed, but it was too late. 3, 2, 1. Amelia's countdown reached its end just as the Excalibur made contact with the alien flagship's hull. For a moment, it seemed as if time itself held its breath. Then, with a silent flash that outshone the stars, the Excalibur detonated. The quantum cascade ripped through space, the stardust particles amplifying its effect exponentially. The alien flagship's shields flickered and died, its hull buckling under the onslaught of pure energy. The planet-killer weapon, milliseconds from firing, imploded as the quantum cascade tore through its delicate systems. From her fighter, Sarah watched in awe as the massive alien vessel broke apart, secondary explosions rippling along its length. The quantum cascade spread outward, engulfing nearby Zarkesh ships. Their advanced technology, so superior to Earth's just hours before, proved helpless against this final, desperate gambit. As the light of the explosion faded, an eerie silence fell over the battlefield. The remaining human forces held their breath, waiting for a response, a counterattack. But none came. Slowly, realization dawned. The alien flagship was gone. The Zarkesh fleet, once seemingly invincible, was in disarray. Humanity had won. Cheers erupted across every communication channel. In underground bunkers and secret command centers, on the bridges of battered warships and in the cockpits of fighter craft, humans embraced and wept with joy. But for Commander Sarah Donovan, the victory was bittersweet. She stared at the space where the Excalibur had been, where Dr. Amelia Chen, Captain Cortez, and their brave crew had made the ultimate sacrifice. "This is Raptor Lead to all Earth forces," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "The alien flagship is destroyed. I repeat, the alien flagship is destroyed. The Excalibur. The Excalibur did it. They saved us all." As the news spread across the planet, the remaining Zarkesh ships began to retreat. Their seemingly unstoppable invasion had been broken by human ingenuity, courage, and sacrifice. In the UEDF command center, General Briggs watched the alien fleet's withdrawal with a mixture of relief and sorrow. They had won, but at a terrible cost. As the cheers of his staff washed over him, he silently saluted the heroes of the Excalibur. "Well done, Dr. Chen," he murmured. "You did it. You saved us all." But even as humanity celebrated its unlikely victory, questions began to surface. What would the Zarkesh do next? Would they return with an even larger fleet? And how would this battle change humanity's place in the cosmos? As the adrenaline of battle faded, the enormity of what had transpired began to sink in. Earth had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. But the war might be far from over. The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity would face it united, stronger and more resilient than ever before. In the depths of space, as the last Zarkesh ships fled the solar system, a small cloud of stardust particles continued to drift. They shimmered in the starlight, a testament to human ingenuity and a beacon of hope for the challenges that lay ahead. The battle for Earth's orbit was over, but humanity's journey to the stars had only just begun. Turning the tide. In the days following the Zarkesh retreat, Earth experienced a whirlwind of emotions. Joy at survival mingled with grief for the fallen. Relief at the alien withdrawal was tempered by the fear of their return. And through it all, a newfound sense of global unity emerged, forged in the crucible of near extinction. Dr. Emma Reeves stood before the United Nations General Assembly, her hands trembling slightly as she gripped the podium. The eyes of the world were upon her as she prepared to present Jiason's findings on the aftermath of the battle. "Distinguished delegates," she began, her voice steadier than she felt. "The Zarkesh invasion has changed everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. But it has also revealed the incredible potential that lies within humanity when we work together." As Emma spoke, holographic displays flickered to life around the chamber, showing the current disposition of Earth's defenses and the retreating alien fleet. "Thanks to the sacrifice of the Excalibur and the brave men and women who fought to defend our planet, we've gained invaluable insights into Zarkesh technology. More importantly, we've proven that humanity can stand against even the most advanced alien threats. In the rows of delegates, General Briggs nodded grimly. He knew the cost of that knowledge all too well. Emma continued, her voice growing stronger. The Stardust Project, while depleted, has given us the foundation for a new generation of defensive technologies. But we must act quickly. The Zarkesh will return, and we must be ready. As the implications of her words sank in, a murmur ran through the assembly. The brief euphoria of victory was giving way to the stark reality of their situation. Humanity had won a battle, but the war was far from over. In the depths of space, aboard the Zarkesh command carrier Relentless Void, a very different meeting was taking place. Supreme Commander Vexthor, his proud posture diminished by defeat, faced the holographic projections of the Imperial Council. "Explain yourself, Vexthor," the Emperor's voice boomed, filled with cold fury. "How did a primitive species manage to destroy our flagship and repel our invasion?" Vexthor's mandibles clicked nervously. "Great Emperor, the humans, they are not as primitive as we believed. They possessed a weapon, a technology we've never encountered before. It disrupted our shields, left us vulnerable." The council members chittered amongst themselves, a sound that sent shivers down Vexthor's spine. He knew his life hung by a thread. "And what of the Worldbreaker?" another counselor demanded. "How did they manage to destroy our mightiest weapon?" Vexthor hesitated. The truth was, he wasn't entirely sure. The final moments of the battle were a confused blur of impossible energy readings and blinding light. They sacrificed themselves, exalted ones. A single ship, carrying their strange weapon, collided with our flagship. The resulting detonation was beyond anything we've ever seen. The Emperor's hologram leaned forward, compound eyes glittering dangerously. "You mean to tell us that a single human ship destroyed the pride of our fleet? That these primitives were willing to sacrifice themselves to defeat us?" "Ah, yes, Emperor," Vexthor stammered. "Their tactics were unexpected, illogical. We were unprepared for such." "Ah, yes, Emperor," Vexthor stammered. "Their tactics were unexpected, illogical. We were unprepared for such desperation." The Emperor's mandibles clicked in contemplation. "Perhaps we have underestimated these humans. Their willingness to sacrifice themselves is intriguing. It seems we must reassess our approach." A new voice chimed in, belonging to Grand Strategist Zalvek. "My Emperor, if I may, this defeat, while shocking, presents an opportunity. The humans believe they have won, but they've merely survived. Their planet lies vulnerable, their defenses in tatters. If we strike now, with our full might—" "No," the Emperor interrupted, his voice cutting through the chamber like a plasma blade. "We will not throw more lives away on a miscalculated assault. We will study, we will learn, and then we will return." Vexthor felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps he would survive this debacle after all. "What are your orders, Exalted One?" The Emperor's compound eyes seemed to bore into Vexthor's soul. "You will take what remains of your fleet and establish a forward base in the asteroid belt of the human system. Observe, analyze, probe their defenses, but do not engage unless absolutely necessary. We will gather our strength and strike when they least expect it." As the holographic council faded away, Vexthor felt a mixture of relief and dread. They had been granted a reprieve, but the real test was yet to come. Back on Earth, in a secure facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a team of the world's brightest minds had gathered. Dr. Emma Reeves stood before a holographic display of the solar system, addressing the assembled scientists and military leaders. "The Zarkesh have retreated beyond Neptune's orbit, but our long-range scans indicate they haven't left the system entirely," she explained, zooming in on a cluster of signals in the Kuiper belt. "We believe they're regrouping, possibly establishing a forward base." General Briggs frowned, his weathered face etched with concern. "So they're not giving up. They're planning their next move." "Precisely," Emma nodded. which is why Project Phoenix is so crucial. With a wave of her hand, the holographic display shifted, showing schematics for a new type of spacecraft. It was sleek, predatory, and unlike anything Earth had produced before. Using what we've learned from the Stardust project and the recovered Zarkesh technology, we're developing a new class of ship, Emma continued. Faster, more maneuverable, and equipped with a scaled-down version of the quantum cascade weapon. Murmurs of excitement rippled through the assembled crowd. Commander Sarah Donovan, one of the few survivors of the orbital battle, leaned forward with interest. How soon can we have a prototype ready? Emma's expression turned grim. That's the challenge. We're pushing the boundaries of our understanding of physics. It could be months, maybe years before we have a working model. We may not have years, General Briggs growled. Our orbital defenses are in shambles, and half the planet is still in ruins from the initial attack. If the Zarkesh come back in force, which is why we need to buy time. A new voice interrupted. All heads turned to see Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the Xenobiology department, striding into the room. I think I might have a solution. Yuki pulled up a new set of holographic images, showing detailed scans of recovered Zarkesh technology. We've been analyzing the alien physiology from the samples we recovered after the battle. There's something unique about their neural structure. I believe we can use this to our advantage. As Yuki explained her plan, a mix of hope and apprehension filled the room. It was audacious, perhaps even reckless, but it might just give humanity the edge it needed. It's risky, General Briggs said slowly, after Yuki had finished. If it fails, we'll have tipped our hand. But if it works, Emma finished, we might just change the course of this war. The room fell silent as the weight of the decision settled upon them. They were no longer just fighting for survival. They were fighting for the future of humanity among the stars. Commander Sarah Donovan stood, her eyes blazing with determination. I volunteer to lead the mission, she said, her voice unwavering. The Zarkesh took my squad, my friends. I want to be there when we strike back. General Briggs nodded solemnly. Very well, Commander. Assemble your team. We'll brief the UN Security Council and begin preparations immediately. As the meeting adjourned, Emma caught Sarah's arm. Commander, a word. They stepped aside, and Emma lowered her voice. There's something you should know about this mission. Something we couldn't discuss in there. Sarah's eyes narrowed. What is it, Doctor? Emma took a deep breath, her expression grave. The technology we're developing. It's not just based on Zarkesh physiology. We've incorporated elements of Project Stardust, the same project that killed Amelia and the Excalibur crew. Sarah finished, her voice barely above a whisper. Emma nodded. The risks, they're significant. There's a chance that we won't come back, Sarah said, a sad smile tugging at her lips. I understand, Doctor. But if it gives Earth a fighting chance, it's worth it. As they parted ways, each woman carried the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. In labs and hangars across the globe, preparations began in earnest. A daring plan was taking shape, a plan that would either secure humanity's place among the stars or consign them to extinction. In the cold depths of the Kuiper Belt, unaware of the audacious gambit being prepared against them, the Zarkesh continued their silent vigil. The battle for Earth's future was about to enter a new decisive phase, and as both sides prepared for the confrontation to come, the fate of two civilizations hung in the balance. Victory and aftermath. The tension in the UEDF command center was palpable as the final preparations for Operation Stardust Gambit were underway. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data, showing the position of Earth's stealth ships as they approached the Zarkesh forward base hidden in the Kuiper Belt. Commander Sarah Donovan's voice crackled over the comms, steady despite the enormity of the mission ahead. Phoenix Squadron, sound off. One by one, the pilots of the experimental ships responded, their voices a mix of determination and nervous energy. These were Earth's finest, volunteers who knew the risks and were prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice if necessary. Dr. Emma Reeves stood beside General Briggs, her fingers dancing over a holographic interface as she made last-minute adjustments to the Stardust-derived technology that was the linchpin of their plan. "Remember," Emma's voice carried to all the pilots, "the quantum resonance field will only work at close range. You need to get within 500 meters of the Zarkesh ships for maximum effect." "Copy that, Doc," Sarah responded. "We'll get it done." As the Earth ships closed in on the alien base, stealth systems engage. A tense silence fell over the command center. Everything hinged on the element of surprise. Aboard the Zarkesh command carrier, Supreme Commander Vex Thor was deep in discussion with his advisors when the alarms began to blare. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded, mandibles clicking in agitation. "Unknown contacts, sir," a subordinate called out. They appeared out of nowhere, energy signatures unlike anything we've seen. Vex Thor's compound eyes widened in realization. "The humans. They found us. Launch all fighters, power up weapons size." His orders were cut short as the first wave of Earth's attack hit. The Phoenix squadron ships, moving with impossible agility, darted between the larger Zarkesh vessels. As they passed, they left trails of shimmering energy in their wake. In the UEDF command center, Emma watched the data streams with bated breath. "It's working," she whispered, then louder. "The quantum resonance field is destabilizing their neural networks." On the Zarkesh ships, chaos reigned. Alien crew members stumbled, their minds overwhelmed by the quantum interference. Weapons failed to fire, shields flickered and died, and communication systems dissolved into static. Commander Sarah Donovan's voice rang out, fierce with triumph. "This is Phoenix Lead. Confirmed effect on enemy vessels. Moving to Phase 2. The Earth ships began their second pass, this time targeting key systems on the larger Zarkesh vessels. Precision strikes, guided by the intel gathered during the first invasion, crippled engines, and weapons arrays. In the command center, a cheer went up as the first Zarkesh ship went dark, its systems completely shut down. General Briggs allowed himself a grim smile. "We've got them on the ropes. Don't let up." The battle raged on, a dance of light and energy against the backdrop of the distant stars. The Zarkesh, caught completely off guard, struggled to mount an effective defense. Their technological superiority, once their greatest advantage, had been turned against them. Aboard his flagship, Supreme Commander Vex Thor watched in horror as his fleet crumbled around him. The humans, those primitives they had so gravely underestimated, had achieved the impossible. They had not only survived but had turned the tables entirely. As the last of his ships fell silent, Vex Thor made a decision that would echo through Zarkesh history. "All remaining vessels," he commanded, his voice heavy with defeat, "power down weapons. Prepare to surrender." In the UEDF command center, the news of the Zarkesh surrender was met with stunned silence, followed by an eruption of jubilant cheers. Tears streamed down faces, and strangers embraced as the realization sank in. They had won. Not just survived, but decisively defeated the alien threat. As the echoes of celebration faded, the enormity of what had been achieved began to sink in. Humanity had not only repelled an invasion by a vastly superior force, but had done so in a way that reshaped their understanding of the universe. In the days that followed, the implications of the victory began to unfold. The captured Zarkesh technology and prisoners opened up new avenues of scientific discovery. The quantum resonance field, born from the sacrifice of the Excalibur crew, promised to revolutionize not just warfare, but energy production, communication, and space travel. But perhaps most profound was the change in humanity's collective psyche. The knowledge that they were not alone in the universe, and that they could stand against even the most advanced civilizations, sparked a new era of unity and purpose. 1 month after the battle, Dr. Emma Reeves stood before the United Nations once again. This time, her voice rang with confidence and hope. "Distinguished delegates, citizens of Earth, She began, "We stand at the dawn of a new age. The Zarkesh invasion, terrible as it was, has opened our eyes to the wonders and dangers that await us among the stars. But it has also shown us what we are capable of when we stand united." As she spoke, holographic images flickered to life, showing the new technologies and discoveries born from the conflict. We have unlocked secrets of the universe that we once thought beyond our grasp. The quantum resonance field, the advanced propulsion systems, the breakthroughs in energy production. These are not just the spoils of war, but the building blocks of our future. In the audience, Commander Sarah Donovan sat beside General Briggs, both wearing the newly minted insignia of Earth's combined space forces. They listened intently as Emma outlined humanity's next steps. "But with this knowledge comes great responsibility," Emma continued, her voice growing solemn. "We have seen the face of an hostile universe, and we know now that we are not alone. As we step out into the cosmos, we must do so not just with courage and curiosity, but with wisdom and compassion." She paused, her gaze sweeping across the assembly. The Zarkesh came as conquerors, and in doing so, they nearly destroyed themselves. We must learn from their mistakes. As we venture into the stars, let us go not as conquerors, but as explorers and peacekeepers. Let us show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength lies not in our weapons, but in our capacity for innovation, cooperation, and hope. As Emma's speech concluded, a standing ovation swept through the chamber. It was more than applause. It was the sound of a species united in purpose, ready to embrace its destiny among the stars. In the years that followed, humanity would face new challenges and make astonishing discoveries. The quantum resonance technology paved the way for faster-than-light travel, opening up the galaxy to exploration. First contact was made with other alien species, some friendly, others wary, but none as openly hostile as the Zarkesh had been. And as for the Zarkesh themselves, they underwent a profound cultural transformation. The defeat at the hands of the primitive humans forced them to reevaluate their place in the universe. In time, tentative diplomatic relations were established, leading to an exchange of knowledge and culture that benefited both species. Commander Sarah Donovan, hailed as a hero of the Zarkesh War, went on to lead Earth's first deep space exploration mission. Dr. Emma Reeves continued to push the boundaries of science, her work on quantum physics earning her a Nobel Prize and paving the way for technologies that would define the new age. As humanity spread to the stars, establishing colonies and forging alliances, they carried with them the lessons learned from their first fateful encounter with an alien civilization. The story of the Stardust Gambit became legend, a reminder of what could be achieved when faced with impossible odds. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, the particles of the original Stardust continued to drift, a silent testament to the ingenuity, courage, and sacrifice that had launched humanity into a new era of cosmic adventure. The end of the Zarkesh War was not just a victory for Earth, but the beginning of humanity's greatest journey. A journey that would take them to the farthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond.